I have a PowerPoint I'm going to go through. I can't show it, but I'll just read through it. It doesn't make any difference whether it's on the screen or not. I'll give you the same information. First thing I want to do is tell you a little bit about myself, but first I need to know who in this room already is a precinct committeeman. Okay, so most of you are. There's a few who aren't. So the few who aren't, this is really for you, but it's also for the precinct committeemen that are already on board. We got to recruit more of them, as Jeff alluded to and others did tonight. Our Republican Party here in Maricopa County is at 44% strength. 44%. That's pathetic. And we got to change that. If we don't change it, we're going to lose our country. Okay. So a little bit about me, and you'll understand where I'm coming from as to how I approach this problem. I grew up in a little town in Wisconsin. I went to West Point. I became an intel officer, an intelligence officer. I literally sent people, I recruited people and sent them on secret and dangerous missions on behalf of the United States government. And I can't tell you anything more about it than that, really. If those people got caught, if I didn't train them well enough and I didn't define the mission well enough for them, they were going to die probably. And the government wasn't going to acknowledge their existence. So it was real serious business. So every time me and my compatriots tried to figure out what it was we were going to do, we defined the goal. You got to define the goal, define the problem. And then you got to work backwards from there, okay? So here's the question. Don't say it out loud. I'm not going to ask for anybody to try to answer it, but think about it. What's our goal, okay? What is our goal? Think about that. What is it that we're trying to do? Okay. Our goal is to take back our government.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so if we want to take back our government, then you got to ask yourself, how do we take back our government? Okay. Working back from that, it's not enough to elect Republicans. We have to elect good, decent people who will obey and follow the Constitution.
Yeah.
That's what our goal is. If we want to take back the government, we have to elect better people. So I'm going to tell you here tonight how to elect better people. This is the bare bones stuff, and if you don't get this, and if you don't do it, you're going to lose your country. So we have to elect constitutional conservatives. Okay, how do we do that? Well, that constitutional conservative has to get on the general election ballot. How does he get on the general election ballot? He's got to win the primary election. The primary election is the most important election. Why is it the most important election? Because all incumbents even have to win the primary election. Up in Utah, Bob Bennett came home, thought he was going to run and get reelected. He had to win the primary. The constitutional conservative grassroots people, the 912ers and the Tea Party people got together and figured out the rules of the Republican Party in Utah. And they have a caucus system. It's totally different up there than it is here. They went to the caucuses. They elected delegates to go to this primary convention. And if you were an incumbent, you still had to get 40% of the votes minimum to stay in the running. On the first ballot, Bennett didn't get 40% of the votes. Why not? Because the number of delegates had doubled. And all the new ones were constitutional conservatives who had done the homework and figured out the rules of their party. And it's not hard. The bylaws of the LD-17, this is something else, I didn't bring the bylaws, but the bylaws of LD-17, my legislative district, and the county, and the state bylaws aren't even that thick. Okay, the LD-17 bylaws are about 20 pages, might be less than that. Maricopa County bylaws are about 20 pages, and the state bylaws are about 20 pages. 60 pieces of paper, that's all you need to know to figure out how to take back this country. So, you've got to get your candidate to win the primary election, okay? Now, who's going to win the primary election? The candidate who's going to get the win in the primary election is the one who's going to have the most precinct committeemen working for them, okay? If you have a majority of people in your, whatever district you're in, if it's a legislative district and you're running for the state house, if you've got a majority of the precinct committeemen in your party, knowing that okay, guess, what percentage of Republicans voted in the last primary election, on average? 20. That's right, about 20%, which is pathetic, which is a huge opportunity for us, because in LD 17, for example, in 2008, less than 1/3 of the precinct committeeman slots were filled, which means that if I filled up all of the other slots with conservatives, and then got those conservative PCs to join with the about 50% of the PCs already are conservative, and then we had a conservative and a rhino candidate running in the primary, well, guess who's going to win? The conservative will win every time, because the precinct committeemen get out the vote for the candidate of their choosing. And the party can't tell you who to get the vote out for. The party can't tell you to do anything. We have a beautiful system here in Arizona. I'll tell you a little bit more about it in a second. So if conservatives band together inside the party, and we all recruit more conservatives to become into the party, if we unite politically, we'll win this all-important, traditionally very low turnout primary election every time. And then our constitutional conservative candidate, instead of some rhino, Republican in name only, and that's key, Republican in name only. The people who we call rhino, they're not even Republicans. They don't even, John McCain, oh, by the way, this thing here, I'm not here, I wore this so you can see my name. I'm not here on behalf of the Republican Party. I'm here on behalf of Dan Schultz, okay? I have 4 kids. I am not going to allow those kids to live under socialism.
Yeah. Right on.
That's right here.
And the rest of you, if you want to live under socialism, then don't do anything inside the party as precinct committeeman. If you want to stop the march of socialism, you've got to get inside the party. So I'm not here on behalf of the Republican Party. I'm not here on behalf of any candidate. I'm not running for anything. I'm here because of my kids. I want them to live in America, not some socialist thugocracy that these Marxists that are pulling Obama's puppet strings are trying to foist on us, okay? So help me take back this country. Now, why is PC, precinct committeeman, so important? Only precinct committeemen elect the leadership of the party. Michael Steele, who's the outgoing chairman, he didn't get elected by registered Republicans. He got elected by registered Republicans who became precinct committeemen, who then elected state delegates to go to a state convention, who elected 2 RNC delegates and a chairman of the party. They elected Michael Steele. If you're a registered Republican, as far as the party goes, they could care less who you are. All they want is to send you mailers. Send us money. We'll send you, if you send $50 to the RNC, you'll get a card that'll say sustaining member on it. Okay? And you'll put that in your wallet like I did, like an idiot, for year after year after year, thinking I was doing something, and I wasn't doing a damn thing for myself or for the party. I was giving money to a bunch of people who were going to spend it, not for me, but for their ends. So only precinct committeemen get to vote for the leadership of the party. Now, you got to think of your precinct as your political neighborhood. Those of you who aren't precinct committeemen, ask yourself this question. Do you even know what the name of your precinct is? Do you know its boundaries? You've got to know that. You've got to figure this out. It's easy. The party will give you a map, and they'll give you a walking sheet, and I'll show you that stuff in a minute. Okay. By the way, right here, see this? There's 710,000 registered Republicans in Maricopa County. There's 2,934 names on this list. I got that from the recorder's website. These are the precinct committee. This is the Republican Party. These 2,935 people, these are the people who are in the Republican Party in Maricopa County. The registered voters who aren't PCs, they put a check mark in a box that had an R next to it. That's all they are. They're not really you're not really in the party until you become a precinct committeeman.
That means they're part of the Czech Republic.
Precinct committeemen's called by some, including Phyllis Schlafly. She's got a nice thing on her website, the most powerful political office in the world. Okay, so precinct committeemen elect the leadership of the party. They get out the vote. The beauty of this system is it's free. It doesn't cost a thing in Arizona. It doesn't.